ultimately, I'm here to live this human experience in its fullest. I'm going to share my truth in the moment as it is, unapologetically. I think if anybody resonates with anything, I would hope it would be that. The conversations that I want to have people, the type of community that I want to build, align with people who there's just so much alignment and resonance in things like being authentic, in things like being here for the experience, in things like not settling, in things like not being okay with living your life under anything that isn't completely true. That's what I want to align with, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the person, who the person is, or what they're actually doing in their life. Like, those tangible things don't matter, but the resonance of the energy is like, are you somebody who goes for it, who you're honest enough with yourself to dream and dream bigger, and you're living your full truth, and you're not settling. My dreams are so big. My dreams are so big and so outlandish and so like, just, who do you think you are having dreams like that? And I'm like, well, they're in me, so they're there, and that to me makes them legit as fuck. And I sometimes feel delulu, but honestly, if I'm being honest, like, I've always known that I was created to live my dreams fully. I've always had big dreams, and I've always known that at some point in my life, I would actually be living the life that I've dreamed of. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm describing what it was like for me. And that's it. That's all I have to offer. Lean a lot into the things that people kind of make fun of when they're like, oh, not to get woo-woo. Like, no, we're going to lean into it here. Like, we're going to get woo-woo. Like, let's have this conversation. Let's have all the conversations. Is it recording? My mic wasn't on when I was recording just now. That's the first time that happened, which isn't bad, because hi, my name is Vanessa, and this is the Let's Get Woo Woo podcast. This is episode number 40, and will be the last episode of season 2. So not bad that I've done it this many times, and this is the first time that I wasn't recording when I thought I was recording. So I've done it before on my phone for like little videos here and there. But anyways, hi, hello, welcome. Here we are. Episode 40, season 2. I didn't have any visuals for my first season, and it took me over a year to go from season 1 to season 2. So I should preface this by saying that I plan on coming back for season 3 in springtime, because that's a good time for new beginnings. I think winter is really good for like hibernating and like going inward and feeling it out, and honestly building it energetically, in order to, in the springtime when things are blossoming, to grow that. So I think lots of planting of seeds are going to happen in the meantime. I'm really excited to pick my book back up and finish writing it. So I hope that when I come back next time, I have some good news to share about that. So I'll be spending time doing things like that, doing some admin and logistical work with the podcast, and more research on how to build community, how to scale it, and definitely planning more. I've had 2 people on the podcast, and it was in season 1. So planning maybe half of the episodes in season 3 to be with other people in conversation. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, here we are. I think it's been a really beautiful space for me that I've been able to hold for myself, to have these conversations. And honestly, like, I'm not kidding when I say, if all that comes of this podcast is me holding space for myself to speak my story, and then me coming back to listen to these, through the editing process and whatnot, and listening to my own story that I've expressed in my own voice, then I will have gotten the highest benefit that I'm going to get from this podcast. And so when I create this podcast, it's like, I don't feel pressure. You know what I mean? I don't feel like there's things that I can't say. I don't feel like there's things that I should be doing or saying. It's just really an outpouring of like what feels like wants to come out for me in my expression at that moment. And so that's part of the reason why the topics are all over the place, but also like it is my story. I am woo woo as fuck. So like the title fits. And I think some people probably like in the beginning were like, what does that mean? But if you listen through the episodes, you would pick up that like, oh yeah, that makes sense. She definitely is. And so I don't shy away from those parts of the conversations. I lean into them. Anything that is spiritual, ethereal, having to do with God or the universe or things like that, like those are the conversations that I'm interested in having. I prefer not to engage in like just surface level conversation for the most part. Um, it's just not that fun for me. But that's the space that I'm creating here. And in season 3, we'll be inviting people to come here and share in this space, mostly through a virtual thing. But there are some friends who I have here locally who we've talked about having them on the podcast. So that'll be fun. Yeah, look forward to that. Okay, let me see. I'm not one to force anything, really, anything ever in my whole life, but also especially creating things. So I'm going to see where this goes. Yeah, I was working on my vision board earlier just to get super clear on like, again, what do I want? What do I want going forward? Because for me, it's always like, I know that wherever my attention is, that's where I'm going. You know what I mean? That's just how it works. And so I have to have a very clear vision of where I want to go in that direction. And so, like, I know eventually I want to be living in my beach house off the shore of San Diego. That's a very clear vision out in the future. Right now, I know that I really enjoy this. I really enjoy creating. I really enjoy finding my voice in creating different videos that I've posted online, both through social media or YouTube, and kind of feeling out what feels right for me and not looking at other people and being like, well, should I do it like that? Like that's just never been my style, to look at other people and like compare or try to imitate. If anything, I'm just inspired to capture what comes out of me authentically, just like here. So I'll probably play with that more in between season 2 and season 3 while I'm taking a break here. I might record in the meantime. I'm not sure, depending on, I might just use, if anything like that comes up, inspiration, I might just use it to create more posts for social media. I don't know. We'll see. I would love for season 3 to be just kind of like a fresh cut version of everything. So we'll see, you know? Yeah. It's been a really beautiful experience thus far to be here in wrapping up, completing season 2 of this. And I couldn't be happier that like I'd been wanting to do a podcast for over 10 years before I started it, literally. And because I love podcasts, like for years and years, I've been listening to podcasts. And I was like, I want to do a podcast. I want to do a podcast. And honestly, I was waiting. I was waiting on the green light to do it. And one night, I just kind of received the information. I was like, this is what it's going to be called, the inspiration of it, you know. And I created the Instagram page that night and the logo, the thing. Yeah, it was really cool. So that, and now we're here. And I didn't plan on having visuals ever, because most of the podcasts that I listened to were audio only, or I only listened to them on audio and Apple Podcasts. That's how I consumed my podcasts. And so I was like, I thought the visual part was kind of not necessary because I personally didn't consume podcasts like that before. But then I saw like the whole world with YouTube and how it's just a fun way to not just engage with people with the visual aspect, but also to be able to create clips of it and post on social media and online to engage in those ways as well. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. So then I was like, I want to do the visuals to be able to have something and create like a portfolio of work on social media so that when I go to invite people onto the podcast, they can look through my portfolio of work and get an idea of what my energy is like, what the conversation's like, and see if it would be a good fit for a conversation. And I had planned on inviting people on season 2. I was like, oh, I'll just do like a handful of episodes and then start inviting people on. But it just didn't feel like it was ready for that. But I think after the completion of season 2, it just feels right to be like, okay, cool. Like now I can start weaving in these conversations with people. And so I'm just so excited about that. When I was doing my vision board, it's just such a sacred space of like dreaming. You know what I mean? Of like, first of all, allowing myself to dream bigger and dream bigger. And then after that, dream bigger. And even now, I feel like my dreams are not big enough. Like, I haven't even been exposed to a fraction of what's possible, of what I'm actually going to experience and create in my life. And that's okay. Like, I don't have to know that or see that right now. I'm all about the journey of it, which is why one of my daughter's names is Journey. Because like just as a reminder and a declaration that like the journey is the beauty of it. It's the joy. It's the delight. And you hear about people who like, because a book project is something that takes a long time. So like that write a book and they finally launch it, or a movie or something. And right after it gets completed and launched, they sometimes can fall into like a dark moment of like, that's it. Because they thought it was going to be like this massive, huge experience or emotion or something, where like actually the joy, especially in creating, is in the process of creating it. And you don't think that because you think this is a goal. And if you're goal oriented, it's like, once I finish it and I put it out and everyone reads it, and I'm going to be so this or that, people are going to love it, blah, 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 all this stuff. And it's like, that's not how it works. That's not why we create. We create because we enjoy creating, period. And if you create in that energy of like, this is bringing me so much joy and delight to be able to create right now, to be able to sit here and have this conversation, to be able to share my story in this way, people can feel that energy when they're watching you. And that kind of energy is alluring. It's magnetizing, not just to people in an audience, but magnetizing to what you're wanting to do and create out of your life, I believe. So, I've only been recording with the visuals for a handful of months now. I started in June. We're in November. So about 5 or 6 months. And, I'm just really glad that I remember when it first started, I was like, I'm so excited to be here with visuals because like it was such a big deal to me. Like I said, it took me over a year to go from the end of season 1 to the beginning of season 2. And like, honestly, if you want to do anything like this, I'll be so honest with you right now. All you have to do is decide that you're going to do it and start taking steps towards it. And that's probably the same for anything else that you want to do in your life, or me, because you're never going to have enough equipment, enough money, you're never going to be ready to actually start with the ideal amount of things or people or support or knowledge. Like just start doing it and learn as you go. Like literally just start doing it and learn as you go, because the process is the joy. It is the delight. And like, it hasn't been perfect, but I'm here. Like, things that I want to upgrade for season 3, my camera, to have a more crisp, clear. So actually get a camera, and probably lighting, like in the back, to set it up, and then just mics and other equipment type things like that. Learn about the technology a little bit more so I can use it and know how to use it better and more quickly, more efficiently. But like, I didn't have all that, and I still don't have all that, and it's okay. And it's like I was still able to do what I wanted to do. I was still able to capture the conversations and capture the visuals and have the visuals to post on my social medias and YouTube, to be able to have places where people can go and see it and be like, okay. And I can invite people and say, check out my stuff on these platforms, whatever one you want, and like see if it'd be a good fit for a conversation. And I'm just really excited to like move forward in that, and to have like a specific body of work to be able to direct people to, of like, and I just feel like it's so representative, what the word, of what I want to portray about myself, of who I actually am in like authenticity and truth. And like I said before, like my unspoken mantra for this season of life, and probably the rest of my life going forward, is I'm just going to be 1000% me, and whoever falls away falls away, and whoever stays stays. And if people fall away, that's great news, because then we're not wasting each other's time. And if people stay, that's great news, because we're truly aligned. Like, there's a true resonance there of alignment. And all alignment doesn't have to look the same. We don't have to, when I align with somebody as a partner, that doesn't mean that that's going to feel the same as if I align with somebody as in business, or as a friendship, or as like I do with my sister, or whatever it is. Like, all those connections are going to feel different and have different purpose. But it doesn't make one any less meaningful or empowering or impactful than the other necessarily. It's just, it is what it is, and you do whatever that connection is meant to do. And so that's been really fun to be able to just exist fully as myself in all the different areas of my life with different people. And when people fall away, it's not like there's a big rupture usually. Most of the time it's just like, it just kind of dwindles off. And I think that's totally okay. I don't think that we have to stay in contact with people that we feel obligated to stay in contact to. Like, obligation is just so gross. It's like, if it's meant to be, and both people desire to keep a connection going regardless of the dynamic, then great, wonderful, because within that energy has a potential to build something beautiful, whether it's just shared beautiful moments, or like a creative collaboration, or whatever it is. Like, great. But like, honestly, I'm just going to exist fully as myself, and whatever happens happens. And if and if you're here and you see something that you think aligns and we want to have a conversation, then great. And if you see something that doesn't align, then great. Like, we're not wasting each other's time. So like, I just really love the fact that I've been able to capture so much of my story in different ways, and so many different topics. Like, it's so like all over the place, but that's me. Like, that's how I am. And there's so many different parts of me. And I feel like it'll be rare that there will be people who will resonate with all the different topics that I talk about, because they're just all so different, and people are human, and we're here to live the human experience. And ultimately, I think that's what my theme is, of my story and things that I share, but also of my life, is that ultimately I'm here to live this human experience in its fullest. And so these are specific details about specific areas of my life that I share. And that's what happened now. But in the future, I could have a whole different approach and thoughts about it and feelings about it. And that's okay. And it's like, just because I said something today doesn't mean that I think or feel that way 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now, 10 years from now. Like, I'm okay with somebody pulling up something that I said before and asking me about it and be like, yeah, that was like 3 versions of myself ago. That's okay. And I would hope that like they understand that type of growth, that they've experienced that type of growth, that they would understand that like people do change and you can change your mind, you can change things that you believe, and that's okay. And so I think just me being able to represent that I'm here for the experiences, that I'm going to share my truth in the moment as it is, unapologetically. I think if anybody resonates with anything, I would hope it would be that, of like, we don't have to agree. Like, I'm not trying to have a conversation with you because I want us to both agree on everything. I want to have a conversation with you because I want you to speak your truth and show up fully authentic. And if we're on opposite ends of the whatever the discussion, beautiful. If we agree on some things, beautiful. Whatever it is, but like, I want to hear your experiences. I want to hear your story. I know my story. I don't want to hear my story again. I want to hear your story. So that's it. I want to do more with music. I want to do more with singing. I will probably start with just something like this and maybe record a few cover songs and post that. I know it has nothing to do with anything else that I post, but it's what I like to do. And so I don't know where I'll post it. It might be a whole different platform, but we'll see. Um, yeah, those things. Obviously, still very much in the dreaming stages of my vision board. What's funny is like this that I'm doing right now, and the fact that I'm completing season 2 with visuals. I can literally go back to previous vision boards where it was just a dream, and now I'm here completing this. And so that's really cool, of like, okay, it's time to dream bigger, Vanessa. Like, you got more to do, be more specific. So I do want to talk about some of the ways, because I do talk about how I believe like you can build your life in this physical realm. You can hustle, you can, you know, you can, whatever you need to. Let's say, I was thinking like, let's say you're going to med school and you just hustle and move through all your classes and all these things. Like, we need people like that in this world. Yes, like do what you got to do however your energy is built, do it. That's not how my energy is built. I know, especially through like human design, I'm a projector, which is, I think, 20% or 10% of the population. And my energy is not designed to be worn out or exhausted. And so my energy is designed to live a soft life. And most of my life, not only did I not know that, but I lived my life in a very opposite way, where it was like, I have to power through, I have to make shit happen, I have to hustle and work till like I'm just spent and I just collapse in bed and that's it, and do it all over again the next day. And sometimes seasons like that require that of you, especially in motherhood, especially in early motherhood. And when I got my human design reading, she was like, a lot of times it's hard for people with projector energy to be parents, because babies don't care if you're tired. You still, it's like, who are you telling? But when I say that I am energetically building my life, I mean things like my vision board. I mean things like dreaming bigger. I mean things like sitting with the question of, what do you want, Vanessa? And doing things like guided meditations, or even just meditations where I'm just imagining those dreams that I've envisioned for myself, that I desire for myself, that I've been honest enough with myself to say, this is what I want, and imagining like waking up a day in the life of, waking up a day in the life of me living in my beach house and recording podcasts in my room there, or playing my guitar in the room there, doing yoga out on the beach, out on my patio in front of the ocean. Like, I don't know, that's just a dream that I don't think it's ever going to leave me. And I do think I will experience that one day for sure. And, I want to do another solo trip next year. I don't know if I'll go back to San Diego or somewhere else, but like starting to dream that up and feel what that will feel like and where I want to go and for how long and what I want to do. The conversations that I want to have with people, the type of community that I want to build, like imagining what it will feel like to align with people who there's just so much alignment and resonance in things like being authentic, in things like being here for the experience, in things like not settling, in things like not being okay with living your life under anything that isn't completely true. Like, that's what I want to align with, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who the person is, or what they're actually doing in their life. Like, those tangible things don't matter, but the resonance of the energy is like, are you somebody who goes for it, who you're honest enough with yourself to dream and dream bigger, and you're living your full truth, and you're not settling to live with lies that you've been told, and you're doing the work to undo those things. And that doesn't have to look like somebody who is on a healing journey necessarily. That can that can look like many different things in different people. I know what it feels like, so I know how it will resonate when I'm around it. And those are the people that yeah, I was going to say that I surround myself with now, but like, that I aspire to meet. Some of the other things that I practice specifically are journaling. Scripting is really powerful. I like to do that more so in like the meditative state of like imagining and really feeling like the embodiment of what that feels like. Words are really big for me. I'm really intentional with words. I'm a fan of Florence Scovel Shinn. She has a book titled Your Word is Your Wand, and also The Game of Life and How to Play It. And she's big on words and intention and faith. And so, like, for example, one of the things, like, I have words up everywhere, right? But one of the things that I have up, it's a journal, and it's a spiral journal, and I just change it when I want to create a new one, and I write it down and I date it. And so I have like, I don't know, like 100 pages of the ones that I've done before. Maybe I'll go through it one day. But the one that I have up right now says, show me how amazing it can get. And so every time I see that, when I first come home, it's the first thing I see. It's the first thing I see when I come out here and I wake up and I'm doing stuff. Like, it's just a focal point of our home. And the girls can read now, so they read all the things that I have up, which is really cool. But I use words and I place them around me very intentionally to both remind me and direct me of like where I want to go, but also to like make a declaration in my life and to the universe that like, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm headed, and those kind of things. So I do that, just moving energy out. I being in different difficult situations emotionally and energetically before, I had to learn how to protect myself energetically. And that is through prayer and also through intention and just sending people's energy back to them, and calling my energy back to myself. That's really huge. And clearing energy in the space. And I use music a lot to set energy here in the house. I most mornings start my morning here with the girls with worship music on. And a lot of times we'll end the day that day. A lot of times we will end the day that way as well. But it's not all we play. We play all kinds of music. And I feel like if you're listening to music and you're experiencing joy and delight in that music, and like, I feel like that's worship too. I really do, especially watching the girls like dance or have fun. I feel like God smiles on that just as much as he does a worship song. So we use music a lot, and I love affirmation music too. And I try to find different things that like have a good message, because music is a way that energy moves in a really powerful way, because it's not just words, it is music. And so you're moving your body, and like it's really influential on us. And so luckily a lot of like the movies and soundtracks to movies and things like that have come out since, at least since my daughters, we've been watching movies together, have a really strong message of like, in, because a lot of them that we listen to are like girl singers, they'll be like female empowerment, and that's really cool. Or just like speaking your truth, or like shining bright, or things like that. And I'm like, yeah. So like it's stuff that like I will listen to, like we'll all be singing it in the car. Like I won't necessarily pull it up on my playlist if I'm not with them, but like, we take turns picking songs in the car every time. And so they'll pick songs and we'll all be singing along. So it's just cool that like, yeah, that that like there's music that they enjoy that is like reinforcing positive things and beliefs into them about themselves, and we can all like enjoy that together. That's really cool. I have courses that I've signed up for this past year mostly, and last year, and I'm planning on redoing those courses because I've done them once and I'm like, I have them to my availability to do, because once you do them, you get to keep them for life. They're online courses. And so I'm going to go back and do those. So two of them are from Holistic Life Navigation with Luis Mojica. One of them is called Finding Safety in Yourself. That one I think is a 6 or 7 week course. So I've already started to go back through some of those and doing like the pretty much somatic practices, which are really practically helpful. Like, I'm someone who has leaned into a lot of different energy work. I went to SWIHA, which is Southwest Institute of Healing Arts in Tempe, which is an accredited great school, like known nationwide at least. And they teach and hold space for a lot of different modalities there. And that's great. A lot of it is energetic work, which I totally get. I've done, it's been great. I, work with that kind of stuff. But I feel like nothing has moved the needle as much on my own personal healing of like stuck energy in my body, whether it's through trauma or wounding or memories or whatever blocks, as somatic work has through Holistic Life Navigation with Luis Mojica. So I actually would love to become a practitioner of something like that at some point in the future, just to be knowledgeable about it and to be able to use that honestly with myself and with my kids first, just like I did with my yoga teacher certification. Like I don't really teach. I can, but like I use it more for my personal practice. And I love that. One of the other ones that I did was at the beginning of this year was VKF, Vaginal Kung Fu with Kim Anami. And so I'm excited. I actually did some of the practices today. She has a lot of guided meditations, like the courses that she actually did. And there's like a workbook. So I'm going to go back and do that. And that is really powerful work for women and for men. Like there's a man version of it that she has as well. But like, I feel like especially for women, because that's my experience, but like, there is nothing like it when you're a woman and you decide that your sexuality is your superpower. And what I mean by that is that as human beings, our sexual energy is our creative energy. It's our life force energy. It's the way that we literally create life, human beings, babies, right? But we're not creating babies all the time. And like for me, like I'm not having any more kids. I've had surgery, I'm done. But like I do want to create my life. I do want to birth different creative projects out of my life and my work that I do. It's the same energy that you can tap into. And I feel like this isn't woo. I feel like this is very obvious and whatever, but like sexual energy is creative energy. And so ever since I was a little girl, I know that I've always had a lot of sexual energy and I still do. Um, and I didn't realize this until this year actually that, oh shit, like I have all of that energy because there is so much for me to create in my life. Like, if you ever heard like don't die with your music still in you, like there's so much music in me to be created in the form of podcasts, in the form of books, in the form of songs, in the form of poetry, in the form of my life, in the form of the way that I mother, in the form the way that I touch people with my heart and my energy and things that I do and I create. Like there is so much that my dreams are so big. My dreams are so big and so outlandish and so like just who do you think you are having dreams like that? And I'm like, well, they're in me, so they're there. And that to me makes them legit as fuck. And I sometimes feel delulu, but honestly, if I'm being honest, like I've always known that I was created to live my dreams fully. I've always had big dreams, and I've always known that at some point in my life, I would actually be living the life that I've dreamed of. And there was a big disconnect for a long time because it was like I was in seasons of my previous life, and it was like I just, and it's easy to let it go because it's like, oh, well, that was just a dream. And it's like now that like I'm taking steps towards it and I can see it and I can feel it, like I can actually feel what it's going to feel like when I'm living as a future version of myself in those experiences. And it's not that different from what it feels like to be in my life right now. But like, that's the reason why I have all of this creative life force sexual energy in me, is to carry out those things. And when I came to that realization earlier this year, I was like, so learning to harness that energy in a way where, like, for example, some of the meditations are like just like visualizing, because where you put your attention is where your energy goes. So like visualizing light moving up through like my yoni upwards. I think she calls it the microchasm, upwards and then back down, and then like recirculating that creative energy. And so many great practices. Look her up if you're interested. Her name is Kim Manami. She's on YouTube, Instagram, that I know of. But she also has a website, kimmanami.com. And so I do that, and it's like yoni egg exercises and all of these things, because here's the thing. As women, we've been made to believe that that our sexual organs and the menstruation and things like that are gross, are taboo, are not to be talked about, are something we should be ashamed of, are something we should hide and just not let anybody see it. Our sexuality is something that should be taboo and kept and restrained into a specific box of this and purity culture and chastity and all this stuff. And it's like, actually, I don't know too much about men's sexual energy, to be honest with you, but for women, our sexual energy is where our power comes from. Because think about it, life is created in us and comes through us, right? That's powerful. That is powerful. As somebody who has birthed people into this world, I've never felt more strong, more empowered, more just proud, more beautiful, more sexy, as when I was being used as a vessel through which life was created. And so to reawaken to the truth that as women, we can harness our own inner power, in that is in us always, whether we procreate or not. Like, we are creators. We create our lives. We create reality as we dream it, as we're inspired to. And our sexuality and our sexual energy is something that we need to learn to embrace and enjoy, and it becomes our superpower. And with that, know that, like, pleasure is our birthright. As human beings, pleasure is our birthright. You know, when you get to a certain stage in life where you can responsibly take part in consensual adult connections with people and decide how you personally want to go about that, what feels right for you, within the confines of that, it can be so beautiful and empowering, of like enjoying that pleasure and really like playing with sensuality and your own, what you desire, and passion and sexuality and all these things. And it's something that I don't shy away from. I've had some conversation about it on like the dating series a little bit here and there, but it's not just about sex. It's also about our power to create in life. And so using the energy to harness that. And that's part of me energetically building my life and my dreams. And that's really fun too. I think that's really fun. I think just as a woman, just being open to the fact that I enjoy sex and I lean into that pleasure, and whatever that looks like for me, but like not being ashamed of it and owning it fully, and being like, this is what I want, and being very direct about that with whoever I'm participating in that with. I mean, that has been some of the best experiences of my life, really, because before that, I had lived my life in a way where my voice was really cut off. I didn't own my sexuality. I didn't own my pleasure. I didn't feel empowered enough to speak my truth and speak about what I desired and what I wanted and what felt good. And so you're just a different person in your existence when that shifts. I became a completely different person. And let me tell you, I don't ever want to go back to ever not speaking my truth, to ever not telling somebody what I want, regardless of what dynamic it is in life. But yeah, that's really powerful. That's a big energy that we're able to tap into as human beings. But as a woman personally, I know that it has been really fun, really empowering, really liberating. And part of that was also, like, I talked about this a little bit in the first part of my dating series, about when I let go of religion. I didn't realize at the time that religion and marriage were so intertwined for me. So when I got rid of the box of religion, I was able to, without guilt, also let go of the box of what I thought marriage had to be, or a relationship in marriage, or that sex could only exist within a marriage. And when I got rid of that and I was able to explore without the guilt, without the shame, with full just presence and no guilt of the pleasure, and just really enjoy it and the desires and everything that came up, like, that is a very fun and enjoyable and powerful energy for a woman to experience, especially if it's for the first time, because it is so liberating and empowering and enjoyable. And I think just the sheer joy and delight as human beings when we're able to actually experience something that is joy just for the sake of joy, pleasure just for the sake of pleasure, delight just for the sake of delight, that is so powerful. Like, we really undercut the value of feeling good. And I don't mean just feeling good in sex, but enjoying things in life. Like, we really don't give enough value to the power that it is to be in a state of feeling good. And I would say, if anything, about energetically building my life, it's that. And it's like also giving space fully to having the full authentic experience of whatever I'm experiencing at any given moment. So like, if I'm sad, be sad, feel the sadness, let it flow through me completely, completely. We're not suppressing anything over here. We're not bypassing any of that. But like, after that, to come back to a state of feeling good, knowing that like feeling good and joy and peace is my homeostasis. This is my norm. This is my neutral. This is where I belong. This is my birthright. Joy is my birthright. Pleasure is my birthright. Delight is my birthright. And I don't have to, it doesn't have to be a special occasion. It doesn't have to be this or that. Like, and being in that state of feeling good is very magnetic. It's very, blocks fall off, and you are able to more easily energetically draw into, you're able to more easily imagine and actually feel and embody what it's going to be like when you live the dream life that you have imagined for yourself. And I totally believe in things like quantum mechanics that like Joe Dispenza talks about, for example, of like, once you've embodied what it feels like to experience that which you wish to experience, and you're having the alchemical reactions in your bodies to tell your body and the energy in you that you're experiencing that thing through your imagination, then the universe will conspire to bring those things up in your reality. I really do believe that. And I don't think it's that far-fetched depending on who the audience is that's listening, but like, I think that's a big part of how it works. And I think part of it is belief, and part of it is the experience of it. Before you have it, you already feel that, you already are experiencing that. And so the universe will conspire in your life to bring those things into your reality in a very real way, not dwelling on how and the steps and the hustle and the work that it takes to get there. Taking steps, definitely moving in action and even massive action towards it, especially through inspiration as it strikes. But like, it's a lot easier than we think it is. It really is. And part of it is letting go of the stories that have been told to us before, that like, we have to do it through the 3D realm, the physical realm of like taking this physical step and then this physical step and then this physical step. That's one way to do it. But don't forget that we're swimming in a spiritual reality constantly. And we're here having a human experience in this 3D realm. And that's a privilege. And it's great to be in our bodies. But also, call it magic, call it whatever you want to call it, we can play with the energies and call things in that way. And it's just so much faster. We have access to limitless possibilities that way. Endless possibilities. Anything you can imagine, you have access to in the energetic realms. And that's how we create it. And so I invite you And I continue to invite myself to keep dreaming bigger, to once you've dreamt as big as you can dream, like I can't even think of anything else that I would want. Okay, let that marinate for a little bit. And then a few months down the line, when you're updating your vision board or your journaling or whatever you're imagining, you see something, you're exposed to something else, you go to a different place, you travel, you see something else, you see a type of relationship that you'd like to experience, you see a place that you'd like to visit, you see a home that you'd like to experience living in, you see a way of a parent existing with their child that you'd like to offer to your children. Put that in your journal, put that in your heart of your treasure chest of like that, because you don't come across those things by accident. The universe is talking to us all the time. And I would invite you to open up the eyes of your heart and your ears, to be receptive to listening to the different signs and wonders that find us, to speak to us, to inspire us to dream bigger. And when you're in a state of heaviness, as Abraham Hicks calls it, contrast of like, well, I know what I don't want to feel anymore, so I don't want to feel this, and use that. And in that state, dream about what, because that is really powerful too, because you're like, this sucks so bad. I never want to experience this ever again. And focus on what you do want to create, because then you really know, like, this ain't it, you know? So I invite us to continue to dream bigger and dream bigger. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here for this season 2 of my podcast. If you've listened to a clip, if you've listened to an episode, if you've listened to all the episodes, I appreciate you. I know your time and your attention is so valuable and limited here. And I appreciate you spending any part of that with me in this story. And don't be afraid to leave a comment. Like, definitely leave a comment. Click the like button. Subscribe so you don't miss it when I come out with season 3. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm telling you right now. But yeah, reach out to me. I'll probably still be active on social media throughout. Or you can just comment on these on YouTube. Leave a review if you like the show. Leave a review. If you don't worry about it. But yeah, anyways, it's been really beautiful, and I appreciate you. And I'm so glad that I took the steps to create this, that I had the vision for it, that I was able to receive the vision for it, that I didn't shut the dream down when it came up for me, and that we're here now, and that we continue to move forward. So thank you. Have a good day. Bye. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm describing what it was like for me. And that's it. That's all I have to offer. Lean a lot into the things that people kind of make fun of when they're like, oh, not to get woo-woo. Like, no, we're going to lean into it here. Like, we're going to get woo-woo. Like, let's have this conversation. Let's have all the conversations.